Michigan's foundation leadership, organized as the Arts Affinity Group of the Council of Michigan Foundations, observed the CDP's potential as it was established first in Pennsylvania and then in 6 other states over the past 5 years. Michigan's CDP task force was formed in 2008 to explore the opportunity and continues to work with great determination to bring CDP to our state for launch by May of 2010. With ArtServe in the role as intermediary and partnering with the Michigan Council for the Arts and Cultural Affairs, the task force is working to engage more funders to invest in the Michigan CDP and to promote the importance of participation to arts and cultural organizations statewide. The times are unprecedented for arts and cultural organizations in Michigan. State funding for the arts was cut by 71% to a mere $2.26 million for fiscal 2010. The economy continues to constrain the availability of resources from private and corporate foundations, businesses, and donors. And audience participation and earned income streams are impacted as people are making harder choices on how to spend limited dollars. As in other sectors, arts and cultural organizations are making difficult decisions on staffing, programming, and service to their communities. And yet we know that the arts and cultural sector brings significant economic return in terms of jobs, supporting local economies, and attracting talent and investment. Including a significant arts contingent, 1 in 10 jobs across the state of Michigan may be found in the nonprofit sector. There's an urgent need to bring Cultural Data Project to Michigan now to strengthen our case for the critical importance of the arts and culture as an investment in the future of Michigan, its communities, and its children. I urge each of you tonight to consider how you might get involved and be a part of making this a reality. Neville Vicaria brings a unique perspective to his work and to our efforts in Michigan. As the director of the Cultural Data Project at Pew, he oversees the operations and strategic expansion of the initiative, including the cultivation of new partners, creation of training programs, coordination of research activities, and the advancement of technical development. Prior to joining Pew, Neville was Director of Technology Services and Programs for the Arts and Business Council of Greater Philadelphia, where he helped create and launch Technology Connectors, a program designed to support the technological capabilities of the region's arts and cultural organizations. He also has more than 10 years of experience in the corporate sector, working in new product development, marketing, and global product management for W.L. Gore & Associates, the manufacturer of Gore-Tex products. He holds 2 international patents and has developed several new products and technologies. Neville also serves as an adjunct faculty member in Drexel University's Graduate Arts Administration program, where he has also earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Materials Engineering and his Master of Science in Arts Administration. Please join me in welcoming Neville Vicaria to IGNITE09.
I bring you greetings from my colleagues at Pew in Philadelphia, who are pleased with all our efforts here in Michigan to engage with the partners on the Cultural Data Project, and we are slowly coming to grips with our recent World Series loss, but there's always next year. I was just in a car coming from the airport this afternoon, and there in the back seat was a copy of the Detroit Free Press, or the FREEP, I hear it's called. And there was the article about tonight's event, and I thought it was really fitting that the first line in that article was really, this is not a time to celebrate, this is a time to advocate. And I think everything we're hearing this evening and everything that I'm going to talk about is fitting, because why else would a keynote be talking about data and information? I mean, it's not the most exciting topic for a keynote in one sense, but I think it's vitally important, so I'm really pleased to be here. I hope today to share some challenges and changes in the cultural sector and demonstrate how a tool such as the Cultural Data Project can help address what lies ahead. If we truly want to have a united voice, we need to speak the same language when we speak of the importance of the arts. Yes, there will be many dialects, but we all have to have the same mother tongue. I think the great scientist Carl Sagan's words actually are apropos to the arts. We need to be collecting and using information when we speak about the arts. We need to move away from anecdotes and stories, but really use information and facts. And of course, the great Anonymous said, "In God we trust, all others bring data." On the flight out here, I was sort of preparing my thoughts, and I was thinking, well, why are we all here? Why do we work in the arts or support the arts? I mean, it's not for the money, it's not the power or the glory. If this were 2 years ago, I would have said that's what investment bankers do, you know. But I think they have a lot more in common with the nonprofit sector these days. But I realized that we don't really choose the arts choose us, if you think about it. I know the arts chose me in 4th grade when I was introduced to the clarinet. And of course, this was a time when all kids had a chance to have music education as part of the regular public school curriculum. Learning how to play the clarinet gave me the skills I needed to do much more than just play an instrument, but it gave me the skills I needed for my life ahead. Even when I overheard my clarinet teacher tell my parents he should really give it up. And I didn't really have any inclination towards it. It taught me to work harder, to practice, to dedicate myself to a task. And when I became an all-state musician in high school, I wish I could have seen his face. And I wonder if I can find him on Facebook, which I just came to I know that the arts also chose me when they pulled me from a secure and stable engineering job in the corporate sector and forced me to sort of run off. And my first arts job was in a musical theater company, much to the dismay of my parents. But I never looked back. Our work in the arts is challenging. Sometimes it's really frustrating, but it's always rewarding. I'm sure all of you sitting here today were chosen by the arts to do what you do, whether it's as a practitioner, a supporter, an advocate, or just a fan. So if the arts are so vital to our lives and livelihoods, that's what we're hearing today, why are we always forced to defend them? Everywhere we look in the media, everywhere we hear is some rationale about why it's not important or why we have to justify what we do. You know, stimulus money. The arts stimulus funds are 1/6,000th of 1%, yet this is what makes the headlines. So why are we always defending the arts? It's just a repeated message. And I think, you know, not only are messages like this out there, but they're almost becoming specious, you know, that if you support the arts, you're going to make our cities less safe, or we have to choose, you know, between our safety and the arts. I mean, there's just a lot of different messages that are not out there. And how do we back up these messages when they're out there? Even more, we've got elected officials, you know, who don't view what we do as quote unquote real jobs, or when state legislatures disproportionately slash support for the arts. How do we keep up? Now, I've never met this Congressman Kingston from Georgia, but here he is. If you happen to see him, you might want to let him know that arts jobs are real jobs held by real people. Add to this, what else is happening in our society? There's a fast growth of societal change. Things are changing faster than any other period in history. We have to adapt to changes in the makeup of our society. Cities and towns are becoming majority-minority populations. The 2010 census is coming out, and it's going to show some major changes in the makeup of our country. How do arts organizations serve these new audiences, these new supporters, these new board members, these new volunteers? And of course, you can't hide from technology. In the past decade, it's revolutionized everything we do. Television took 10 years to reach 10 million people. Hotmail took 7 months. And Facebook does that in about 3 weeks. So how do we engage with a digital culture if we're still in the Stone Ages technologically? We need that enhancement of our capacity to use technology both as a medium to deliver the art, but also as a means to engage people. And these new audiences are going to want new experiences. We know that. They want engagement and interactivity. They don't want to sit passively by in a hall for a couple hours at a time. They want interactivity. And it's hard to bring people. It's going to be harder even to bring people to a live event in a grand hall such as this when they're satisfied interacting with a 3-inch by 4-inch screen on their phone. If you can't create demand for these audiences, it won't matter how great your product is. So there are a lot of challenges ahead. And of course, people are getting older. Generational changes are upon us. We're about to see the largest generational shift in leadership as the boomer generation eventually retires and a new generation of leaders emerge. These leaders are not going to have the same approaches or interests or be willing to put up with the same old methods. Arts organizations and their supporters are going to need to evolve to the needs of new leaders who think in new ways.